Have you ever thought of like slowing down at least? With 3 kids, you're doing so many things. Were there any thoughts like, oh, maybe with this I need to stop, but like double down here so I can be more with my family?
I think people must think I'm always on the move and traveling. I am very much a stay-at-home mom a lot of the time. Again, those businesses are run by some very beautiful, amazing partners and also teams so that it can all flow. I mean, no joke, my husband is the man behind the scenes. And honestly, I trust his judgment and his decision-making that he'll pretty much be like, hey, you have this option. What do you think? I'll be like, yep. And then I kind of forget about it. And he'll be like, and that option is now a job and you're going tomorrow. I just get to literally show up and be around the kids, go to school functions, take them to their like play dates, I'm with them all the time. It's my favorite thing. And so that's our deal, is that he does all the computer work behind the scenes and I'll show up for the jobs. But please let me like hang out and be mom. And he's so great at letting me just having those opportunities.
So I'm trying to understand your schedule. So in a month, how many days are you a normal mom?
Every day.
Every day?
I, for example, this morning woke up. My middle boy, he has a project on tornadoes. And so we woke up together and we worked on the project together.
You woke up, what, 6 a.m.?
Yeah.
Because the camp started at 9.
Yeah, so 6 a.m. He got up, so we got on tornado project. We had breakfast together. My littlest was with Grandpa having a sleepover. And my oldest, as you see, is here. So everyone gets a little time. And then after I leave at a very specific time at model camp, I get to go and I tell the models, I'm going home to be mom now. And usually everyone respects that. I'll have movie night with them. I'll do bath tonight. I put everyone to bed, wake up. They have school tomorrow. Well, James will run them to school before we have model camp. So we're there.
Yes, you're involved.
Yeah, we're involved. And they're right now hanging out with grandparents.
And you have your grandparents here, so when you travel, grandparents...
Sometimes, yeah. So grandma right now is from England. She's here for a little bit. My mom's from Canada. She'll come for a little bit. And James's dad lives nearby. So we always just have like someone nearby. And then we have, like I said, some great staff who are literally like their brothers and sisters.
That's great.
They're older, and they love them. As you see, like Ione just went with one of our staff members. She thinks of them as their big sisters.
That's awesome.
And it's great because they need support in different ways. And it doesn't always have to be mom and dad, but like they can share with other people. It's fantastic. I wish I had this when I grew up. Not so much the modeling, I'm just saying the support. It was me and my mom. And then when she was gone, I had babysitters. And
you had 58 babysitters,
58
something like that. I've heard that
good
number.
for you. 58 babysitters. And
That's
not
crazy.
all of them were great.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the support. So I think being very present is very important to me. And it is the hardest thing when we travel, say, to Cannes or to Paris. If you see me on the airplane, I'm crying. I'm wishing to be with them. And I know that it's only 5 days, and I don't do that quite often. But it bothers me, and I think it's young Coco, when her mom left, comes back, and she's missing. But I know my kids are like, see you.
Do you tell yourself, this is the last trip, this is the last trip?
Never is it the last trip. It's just, it'll get better. And it's, again, when I leave, they're fine. They're like, I'm with my grandparents, I'm with my brother and sister. I have play dates planned. You've, filled my days so that I'm going to have fun. It's me. It's my little, like, remembering how it felt. And it's funny how that's just never gone away. So I really make sure it's always special with them.
Yeah, mine cries. So this is probably the last trip, but I might have to work next one as well.
And you know what? They're good. I look back and I cried when my mom left, but also I'm not like, how horrible.
Yeah, it's not like lifelong trauma.
No, but it's things that I'm like, I wish I was on those trips. I bring my kids, and I'm sure you're going to like do more and more with them the older they get. School gets in the way. But it starts to be so fun where we get to share all this together.
But can you walk me through this decision when you're like, I'm going to have this kid and then the second kid and third kid, and I'm a top model, and my body is basically my product, right?
Oh, so the first time, honestly, I didn't probably know enough to know. And
How
that's
old were
probably
you?
Good. I think I was pregnant at 24.
Oh, wow.
24, 25. And it was just an excitement. Like, I wanted to be mom more than anything. So I didn't even think of like what that means for a model. I probably announced it too early because everyone's like, oh, she's pregnant, so she has a bump, so we can't work with her. And I was like, oh, well, why aren't I working now? After having baby, my body seemed to have gone through its natural course. And a few months later, I was able to go back to work. I was excited to go back to work. Whereas some people say the models are pressured they have to do it immediately. I thought of it as I can't wait to share my new life with my baby in my world that I love. And so as a model, it is fascinating. We get to kind of decide things when we go to work. Like I can decide if I'm bringing my kid or not. I can decide, well, I need to breastfeed.
Yeah, right.
Mommy's has to work, but also mom has to take care of you. So if that meant like bring a grandparent while they'd watch them and I'd shoot and then I would feed. And then at certain points, like, okay, they can stay home and I'll work. But other times I'm like, let's just bring. Why not?
Yeah, with the third kid, like when you know what it takes when they're 2 years old, 3 years old, it's like a completely different involvement. Or you're like, oh, maybe I should postpone.
No, the third one was the day they announced COVID was the day I found out I was pregnant.
Oh, perfect timing.
So I was like, I'll just be staying home
awesome.
being pregnant. It was a little nerve-wracking because you're like, there's something growing in me that I want to protect, and the world is crazy right now. But no, the third one, I wanted another baby. So there was a time where my life, I allowed the industry to, and I say it in a generalization, it's not all bad people, but the industry dictated what I would do and how would I do it, and like be thankful and don't mess it up. And I think that I was so over that, that anything when it comes to my decisions now, I won't ever allow that to happen again. So I never really have thought like, oh, why did I get pregnant? I'm going to mess this all up. It's because I knew that being a mom probably was going to be far more fabulous than doing this 5 more years. If they told me you were done. And here we are today. We're not done. We're still doing it. And I'm glad I took those opportunities. But yes, I know some models that they wouldn't get pregnant because they were so worried about the career. And I'm like, the career is not to me, is not that important to change my entire course of life just so I could be relevant for 1 more year.
Yeah. And you've done so many other things differently in the industry because you advocated for, in New York, right? The girls are now treated as actors, minor girls are treated as minor actors. When you're doing these changes and you're like changing the whole thing completely and you get hate, what is your mindset? Like, how do I continue pushing? What is your support system?
In 2013, there was a flaw. Before 2013, there was a flaw in that there was no protection for underage models, and then we were able to fix that. I thought in my mind, wow, this is going to be that moment in my career where people will look back and be like, remember that time that you did that thing? And I thought it was always going to be a positive reaction. And my first photo shoot after that, I got like a big round of applause of the shoot, and I was like, oh, this is it. This is how it will always be. And then one individual just jumped at me and was like, what did you do? Who do you think you are? Because your career is, falling, you thought you should destroy the rest. And I was like, wow, someone believes that? And the room didn't know how to react, so they didn't do anything. And I thought, oh my goodness, never mind the positive. I might actually be entering rooms where people just can't stand me.
Yeah.
And it hurts when you have stuff like that, where you realize you're not trying to be the whistleblower. You're not trying to be mean or nasty. You're just thinking that people would like to take care of their models and like to take care of their children, and they didn't see it that way. And so, I sometimes still have a hard time in rooms where people look at me and like, goody two-shoe, the girl that always wants to like better, but is she really that better? I second guess a lot of what people are thinking about me, and it's something I'll have to probably deal with forever.
How do you deal? Does it fade away?
It doesn't fade away. I'll have great days where I walk in a room and I can tell someone's not into me. I'm like, that's fine. And then other days you're like, why do I feel so vulnerable and nervous? And I'd say to anyone, you're never going to have an appropriate reaction. It's just how you're feeling at that time. Hormones, sleep, deprived, sick, empowered or not, that is going to dictate how you're going to react to things in that moment. So I never can look back at a moment and be like, you should have done better. That's how I was going to react at that moment for what I was going through at that very time. So that's how I deal with it. And I'm okay if I do cry sometimes from a reaction or response. And I'm proud of myself when I react otherwise. But you're right. You do want to have a team. You want people that can talk to you and be reasonable with you. Yeah. James is that person with me. It sometimes annoys me how reasonable he is. I'm like, no, I just want you to hear me cry. But he will. Like the other day I had a moment and reasonably told me some stuff, and I was like, I needed to hear that. That's exactly what I needed to know. I knew it,
Yeah.
but I needed to hear it. So for people in business, again, stop finding the yes man, the person that always says yes to you and agrees with you and tells you whatever you want to hear. You do need the no man sometimes.